Long before smartphones and wristwatches, before gears, springs, and ticking hands, humans still needed to track the passing of time. Imagine waking up to the golden light of dawn, with no clocks to guide your day, only the rhythms of nature and the movement of the sun. In a world where every moment was precious, understanding time meant survival, prosperity, and connection to the cosmos. Farmers had to know when to plant their seeds to ensure a good harvest. Merchants needed to meet buyers at just the right moment, sometimes traveling for days with only the sky as their guide. Priests and astronomers watched the heavens, performing rituals and ceremonies exactly when the stars aligned, believing that the fate of their people depended on perfect timing. For everyone, from rulers to commoners, measuring time was a daily challenge. But without modern clocks, how did they do it? How did ancient people transform the chaos of passing days into order and meaning? The answer lies in three ingenious inventions: sundials, water clocks, and candle clocks. These early timekeepers were more than tools. They were symbols of human curiosity and ingenuity, marking the dawn of our quest to master time itself. Join me as we journey through ancient civilizations, exploring how they turned sunlight, water, and fire into the very first timekeepers. Together, we'll uncover the secrets of these remarkable inventions and discover how the need to measure time shaped the world we live in today. Our story begins in ancient Egypt, around 1500 BCE. Each morning as the golden sun rose above the Nile, Egyptians watched the world awaken. They noticed that a stick placed upright in the ground cast a shadow that moved in a predictable pattern throughout the day. This simple observation would change the way humanity understood time forever. The Egyptians were keen observers of the heavens. Priests and astronomers tracked the sun's journey across the sky, believing it was the god Ra sailing his solar bark from dawn to dusk. The movement of the sun's shadow became a sacred rhythm, woven into the fabric of daily life and religious ceremonies. By marking where the shadow fell at different times, Egyptians created the first sundials. The earliest were simple, just a vertical stick called a gnomon, planted in the earth. But soon, they carved precise hour lines into stone slabs, making time-telling more accurate. Craftsmen carefully measured and etched these lines, aligning them with the sun's path. Some sundials were portable, made of stone or wood, while others stood in temple courtyards, marking the hours for priests and worshippers. Reading a sundial became a daily ritual. As the shadow crept across the lines, people knew when to begin work, offer prayers, or gather for meals. The sundial's silent movement shaped the rhythm of Egyptian society, from bustling markets to quiet moments of reflection. The simplest type was the gnomon, just a vertical stick. Over time, sundials became more elaborate. Some were shaped like half-moons or decorated with hieroglyphs and images of the gods. Inscriptions sometimes recorded important dates or honored the pharaoh, but soon they carved precise hour lines into stone slabs, making time-telling more accurate. Sundials were not just tools, they were symbols of order and harmony, connecting the cycles of nature to the lives of people. In temples, priests used them to schedule rituals at the exact moment the sun reached its zenith. Farmers relied on them to know when to plant and harvest, trusting the sundial's shadow to guide their work. Even today, archaeologists discover ancient sundials buried in the sands, silent witnesses to a civilization's quest to understand the passage of time. These early timekeepers remind us of the ingenuity and curiosity that shaped the world's first great empires. As centuries rolled by, the humble sundial began its remarkable journey from the sands of Egypt to the heart of the ancient world. Egyptian innovations spread along trade routes, carried by travelers and scholars, until they reached the bustling cities of Greece and Rome, civilizations eager to unlock the secrets of time. In Greece and Rome, sundials became more than simple tools. They became symbols of knowledge, order, and civic pride, standing tall in public spaces and private gardens alike. The Greeks, ever the mathematicians and astronomers, saw sundials as a challenge to their intellect. They studied the movement of the sun with precision, eager to improve upon the Egyptian designs. They observed that the sun's path across the sky changed with the seasons, causing shadows to shift in length and direction. This realization led to a breakthrough in timekeeping. To account for these changes, Greek craftsmen ingeniously curved the hour lines on their sundials, using complex geometry to track time more accurately throughout the year. Marble sundials, carved with elegant precision, became prized possessions, sometimes inscribed with poetic verses or dedications to the gods. These innovations made timekeeping more reliable year-round, allowing citizens to plan their days with newfound confidence, whether for work, worship, or celebration. Picture a bustling Roman forum, alive with merchants, philosophers, and politicians. At its center stands a grand public sundial, casting its shadow over the marble stones. This sundial is not just a timepiece, it's a gathering place, a meeting point where citizens check the hour before heading to debates, markets, or games. People from all walks of life gather around watching the shadow move, using it to schedule meetings, public speeches, and even gladiatorial contests. Statues of gods and heroes look on as the daily rhythm of the city is set by the sundial's silent authority, guiding everything from business deals to religious ceremonies. The hour of a speech, the start of a festival, or the beginning of a gladiator match, all were marked by the sundial's shadow woven into the fabric of Roman life. Sundials became essential to daily routines, helping to coordinate everything from market hours to legal proceedings and even the opening and closing of city gates. In the great cities of Greece and Rome, the rhythm of life itself was guided by the movement of the sun, as measured by these ingenious devices. Yet, for all their elegance, sundials had a critical flaw, one that even the greatest minds could not overcome. Sundials depended entirely on sunlight. When the sky darkened, their shadows vanished, and time itself seemed to pause. On bright, cloudless days, the sundial's shadow stretched crisply across the stone, marking each hour with clarity and grace. But when clouds gathered overhead, the shadow blurred and faded, leaving people uncertain of the hour. And as night fell, the sundial became silent and useless, its marking swallowed by darkness. Without the sun, the sundial could not speak, and the city waited for dawn to bring time back to life. People would look to the horizon, longing for the sun's return, knowing that only then could the day's activities resume in earnest. This limitation inspired inventors and thinkers to seek new ways to measure time, methods that could work even in the absence of sunlight. The quest for a timekeeper that could mark the hours in total darkness would lead to the next great leap in human ingenuity. What about nighttime or cloudy days? The Egyptians had an answer: the water clock, or clepsydra. Around 1500 BCE, they made simple bowls with tiny holes in the bottom. Water dripped out at a steady rate, and the falling level marked the passage of time. This allowed priests to time night rituals and astronomers to track the stars even in total darkness. As sundials faded with the setting sun, ancient inventors searched for ways to measure time in darkness. Their answer? Water and fire. Water clocks, or clepsydras, first appeared in Egypt and Babylon over 3,500 years ago. Simple bowls with tiny holes let water drip at a steady pace, marking the hours as the level fell. Soon, water clocks spread across the ancient world. In Greece, they became essential for timing speeches in courtrooms. When the water ran out, the speaker's time was up. The Chinese built towering water clocks with intricate gears and floats, moving pointers across dials. These marvels inspired the first mechanical clocks centuries later. In public squares and temples, water clocks regulated daily life, timing rituals, market hours, and even city curfews. Meanwhile, in China, Japan, and medieval Europe, a new idea flickered to life: the candle clock. Candles were marked with lines, each burning at a steady rate to measure the passing hours. In monasteries, monks used candle clocks to time prayers through the night. In Asian homes, families watched the wax melt to track bedtime or curfews. Some candle clocks were ingenious. Hidden weights dropped as the wax melted, ringing bells to signal the hour. In Japan, incense clocks filled the air with fragrance as they marked time. Candle clocks worked day or night, indoors or out, unless a gust of wind blew out the flame. Still, they brought timekeeping into homes and monasteries across continents. Each method, water, wax, or incense, was a creative response to the needs and environments of its time, shaping how people lived, worked, and dreamed. Sundials: simple, no moving parts, but useless at night. Water clocks: more accurate, worked in darkness but needed maintenance. Candle clocks: portable, could work indoors but less reliable in wind or rain. These ancient devices did more than tell time. They shaped human civilization. Over centuries, the principles behind them evolved into the mechanical clocks of the Middle Ages, and eventually the precise timepieces of today. From the shadow of a stick, to the drip of water, to the melting of wax, ancient people turned the elements into the first timekeepers. And while our clocks are now infinitely more precise, the human urge to capture each fleeting moment is timeless. Water clocks had problems. In summer, water evaporated too quickly. In winter, it could freeze. And if you forgot to refill them, time simply stopped. But the story of candle clocks stretches far and wide. In ancient China, inventors marked candles with measured lines, using the steady burn to track hours in the stillness of the night. Scholars would study by the glow, glancing at the shrinking wax to measure their progress. Across the sea in Japan, candle clocks became a symbol of discipline and routine, lighting the way for poets, monks, and samurai alike. Each melted mark brought them closer to dawn or to the next ritual. By the Middle Ages, candle clocks flickered in European monasteries. Monks used them to time midnight prayers, their chants rising and falling in rhythm with the burning wax. Simple, portable, and surprisingly reliable indoors, candle clocks united distant cultures in the shared pursuit of mastering time, one melting hour at a time. As the candle's flame dances past its final mark, We remember, long before digital displays and atomic seconds, it was firelight that first measured our nights. Some candle clocks were cleverer still. Ingenious inventors embedded small metal weights inside the wax. As the candle burned lower, the weights would eventually drop, striking a bell and ringing out the passing of another hour. It wasn't just the steady glow of a flame. These clocks brought sound into the equation, transforming the passage of time into a gentle melody that echoed through quiet rooms. Meanwhile, in Japan, a different kind of timekeeper filled the air with both beauty and precision. Incense clocks, crafted from fragrant sticks or powdered trails, burned at a measured pace. As the glowing ember crept along its marked path, it released delicate wisps of smoke and subtle scents, each inch marking another moment gone by. For monks, poets, and scholars, the gradual shift of fragrance and the changing line of ash became a silent, aromatic reminder of time's quiet march forward. Whether through ringing bells or fragrant trails, these creative clocks remind us that time has always been more than just numbers. It's an experience of sight, sound, and scent, woven into the fabric of daily life. Let's compare the three great timekeepers of the ancient world: sundials, water clocks, and candle clocks, side by side. Each one shaped daily life in remarkable ways. Imagine a farmer in Egypt, glancing at a sundial as the sun rises. The shadow moves across carved lines, marking the hours for planting, harvesting, and rest. Sundials were simple, just a stick or stone, no moving parts, powered by sunlight. Their strength was elegance and reliability on clear days. But as clouds gathered or night fell, the sundial's shadow faded, and time seemed to pause. In northern lands or during winter, sundials could be nearly useless for months. In a temple, a priest watches water drip steadily from a bowl, the water clock, or clepsydra. By marking the falling water level, they could time rituals, prayers, and even astronomical observations, day or night. Water clocks worked in darkness and indoors, making them invaluable for timing ceremonies and court speeches. But they needed constant care, refilling, cleaning, and protection from heat or cold. If the water froze or evaporated, timekeeping stopped. Now picture a scholar in China, studying by candlelight. The candle clock, marked with lines, burned at a steady pace. Each segment of melted wax measured an hour, guiding bedtime, prayers, and even curfews. Candle clocks were portable and worked indoors, spreading across Asia and Europe. But a gust of wind or a drop of rain could snuff out the flame, and different waxes burned at different rates, making them less precise. Each method had its own genius. Sundials brought order to bustling markets and city squares. Water clocks kept time for sacred rituals and legal debates. Candle clocks lit the hours for monks, poets, and families through the night. But all had limits. Sundials needed sun. Water clocks needed water. Candle clocks needed calm air. Their strengths and weaknesses reflected the environments and cultures that created them. Over centuries, these inventions inspired new ways to measure time. Animated timelines show the journey from sundial to water clock to candle clock, each step a leap in human ingenuity. In the end, these ancient timekeepers did more than count hours. They shaped routines, ceremonies, and the very rhythm of life. Their legacy lives on in every clock and watch we use today. Across the ancient world, timekeeping was more than a technical achievement. It was the heartbeat of civilization. From the bustling markets of Babylon to the grand forums of Rome, the ability to measure hours shaped how people lived, worked, and worshipped. In Egypt, priests used water clocks to time sacred rituals, ensuring ceremonies aligned with the stars. In Greece, philosophers debated under the watchful eye of sundials, while Roman magistrates scheduled legal proceedings by the movement of a shadow. In medieval monasteries, candle clocks marked the hours for prayer, their steady flames guiding monks through the darkness of night. In China and Japan, incense clocks filled the air with fragrance, blending time with the senses. These inventions did more than organize daily life. They enabled empires to coordinate armies, scientists to track the heavens, and merchants to synchronize trade across continents. Timekeeping became the backbone of governance, religion, and science. As centuries passed, the principles behind sundials, water clocks, and candle clocks inspired new waves of innovation. Medieval inventors built intricate mechanical clocks for cathedrals and town squares, their gears and bells echoing the rhythms of the past. The Renaissance brought pendulum clocks, each leap in accuracy reflecting humanity's growing mastery over time. In the age of exploration, precise timekeeping made navigation across oceans possible, connecting distant worlds. In the modern era, the ticking of quartz crystals and the vibrations of atomic clocks synchronize our lives to the split second. Satellites orbiting Earth keep time for the entire planet, guiding everything from global communication to scientific discovery. Yet the legacy of ancient timekeepers is more than mechanical. By measuring time, humanity learned to reflect on the fleeting nature of existence, to cherish each moment, and to seek meaning in the passage of hours. The quest to master time is, at its heart, a quest to understand ourselves. from the first shadow cast on stone to the atomic clocks guiding our satellites. The story of timekeeping is the story of civilization itself, an endless journey of curiosity, invention, and wonder. From the shadow of a stick, to the drip of water, to the melting of wax, ancient people turned the elements into the first timekeepers. They remind us that time isn't just something we measure, it's something we live. And while our clocks are now infinitely more precise, the human urge to capture each fleeting moment is timeless.